Welcome to the Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This is the Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. In this episode, I have been so excited for this. Been waiting for it since it pretty much got confirmed that it was happening. We've got Mr. Cody D'Acquisto on this podcast. And look, man, I have looked up to the D'Acquistos for years. You want to talk about guys that know how to get on big bucks. They're definitely up there in like the Mount Rushmore of big buck killers. So it's gonna be a really good episode. We talked about mobile hunting, the history of lone wolf, all that stuff, and dude, it was a lot of fun. So before we get into that, I actually have to go over a couple of things. So I posted the fourth annual Southeastern Bow Hunter Bow Shoot on Facebook. Try to invite everybody that follows the page. If you don't follow the page, that's fine, because I'm gonna give all the details here right now. So it is gonna be on July 11th at Charlie Elliott Archery Range at 9 a.m. I've been getting a lot of texts saying that people are seeing 12 or 9:30. No, it starts at 9, and we are going to be going until basically till it ends. I think the years past it always ended around like 1 or 2. We're gonna have a bunch of giveaways. A lot of the partners are getting involved. Someone's gonna leave with my bow from 2023, which is a Bear Whitetail Max. Everything is solidified. I know that weekend is ASA Championships, so for those of you listening that are going to that, I am not going to sit here and tell you to skip that. But next year, I'm going to try to pick a weekend. There's not a lot of stuff going on. I didn't even know. All right, I had some people reach out today and tell me, and it's like dates are already secured. I can't change it. So really looking forward to it. I know there's a few people that I've talked to that are traveling, one of which is my good buddy Michael Perry out of Alabama, who holds the Alabama state record. He is coming to shoot bows with us at the bow shoot. I'm super excited about that. Michael is an awesome dude, one of my favorite people to get on this podcast, and we've honestly become pretty good buddies. So really looking forward to that. I hope that it turns into a family thing where him and his wife come out and they can shoot and hang out with everybody. So that's going to be really, really awesome. And I'm kind of working on trying to get other people to, other names you would recognize to show up. Whether or not they do it's not the point of it. The point of it is for everybody to show up and have a good time. So we do have to sign waivers. DNR needs us to sign waivers. That is a requirement now. There is also going to be somewhat limited parking, so try to carpool if you can. And also, it is free. There is no admission fee. There's no classes. You can bring a compound bow, a traditional bow, a youth bow, or even a crossbow. Everybody is welcome to this. So it's just going to be a really good time with a lot of like-minded people, bunch of people shooting. Man, I am so excited. So that's kind of all the announcements as far as stuff with the podcast, with the bow shoot. Before we get started with Cody, got to run through these partners. So I'm going to run through them kind of quick. The podcast is brought to you by Sportsman's Empire, which is the network that we are currently under. They have a host of a bunch of different hunting shows. So if you want to listen to other shows that are kind of like this one or completely different, they have you covered over there. Let's see. Next up, Lone Wolf Custom Gear. So I am running the V2 doubles and the excuse me, the D'Acquisto series 7.5 or 0.75. I can't talk. Absolutely love those stands. So if you guys are in the market for some new stands, head over to lonewolfcustomgear.com. Check out the D'Acquisto series. Look at all the stuff they have to offer. And if you are more of, I guess, a budget-minded mindset, they also have the Patriot series, which is just their cast aluminum stuff. It's just as good quality. The only thing is you're not getting all of the perks and the little add-ons with the D'Acquisto series stands. Next up, Asio gear. Asio, always killing it. My personal favorite camo that there is. I'll be using their leafy jacket this year, and Joe is actually coming on the podcast, I think, in July. So that's going to be a really good episode. If you guys are looking for new camo, head over to Asio Gear and check out what they have for you. Next up, Boutique, best arrow wraps in the game, plain and simple. G5 Outdoors. I'm going to be shooting the Mega Meats again this year. To me, that's the best broadhead that's out there. There are some things that are in the works. Brian is going to be coming on the podcast in July also, I think. So we may cover some stuff on that. I kind of want to do it like a personal episode with him. So things we always talk about product and stuff when he's on here. So we might change that. But G5 makes a phenomenal broadhead. I absolutely love it. Um, whether you're shooting the dead meat, the mega meat, or the T2, or if you're a fixed blade guy, they have you covered with the Montec M3, Striker X, and Striker V2. Next up, Prime Archery. So if you're watching the video, you can see my Prime Divide right there. Best bows I've shot all year. I'm gonna tell you right now, this Prime Divide 31 is fantastic. I shot it yesterday after like a week and a half because it's been raining. I just haven't shot much. Dude, 30 yards, stacking them. So these bows, man, they to me are the best that we have out there right now. So if you guys are looking for a new bow, deer season's like 3 months away. I think at the time of dropping this, it's going to be June. So it's actually, yeah, legitimately 3 months away. That's crazy. Um, so yeah, if you need a new bow, now's the time. All right. Head over to your local shop. I recommend you go to Ace and check out the prime bows that they have. And look, man, you will not be disappointed. And remember, nothing aims like a prime. Let's see. Next up, dialed archery. So you can see my dial proof in the video. I've got the orange void dial with the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Small Batch Series sight. Absolutely love it. Best sight that I've ever shot. I shot a proof last year and then an Arxos the year before that. And these sights are just top notch, man. Nothing beats them. So if you want to check out what they have, head over to Dialed Archery, check out the small batches, or you can color match to your bow. They have pretty much all of the major colors that the major brands have. So you won't be missing out on, if you've got like, I think Matthews has what the Kodiak brown, Dialed has a color that matches that. Let's see. Next up, Moultrie. Moultrie, I believe, is going to be part of the giveaway. Working on that with Mark right now. And he is coming on for an episode to talk about the new stuff that's coming from Moultrie, which I don't know anything about yet. But if you're out there looking for cameras, especially with June right around the corner, or basically it's June now, get those cameras out, man. I know a lot of people start in July, but the sooner you get them out, the more you're going to know. I've already got one of my bucks, Elmer, from last year, who was a mainframe 10 with two kickers or a kicker on each G2. He's back and he's already looking pretty stout. So I trust Moultrie to show me where these deer are and try to make a game plan. And I think you guys should too. Next up, Bow Hunting League. Haven't really heard anything from the last time me and Ben talked about what changes are coming, what new stuff we're working on. However, if you guys want to be a state sponsor, I recommend you sign up. I did, and I've absolutely loved it. The shirts still haven't come through. It's a huge process, but they're coming. So yeah, if you want to be a state sponsor with the Bow Hunting League for this coming season, head over to their website, tell them we sent you. It helps us as much as it helps them. Next up, Scrape Doctor. I am getting my scrapes out probably next week. Absolutely love what he's got. He's got the new, I don't know the name, but I know he's got a bead product, kind of like a gel bead. I really want to try that. And dude, the Scrape Doctor stuff works. I'll tell you that right now. I had bucks hitting scrapes all season last year, even early season. I actually have a picture of Elmer hitting a scrape in like July. So Scrape Doctor stuff works. If you guys are running scrapes, go check them out. Let's see. Next up, Victory Archery. I'm running the HLRs. If you haven't listened to the episode we did with Brandon yet, please go back and listen because we do a deep dive into Victory. We go through all of the new models, and dude, I'm gonna tell you what, those HLRs, absolutely killer. So if you need new arrows, head over to your local bow shop, go shoot Victory. Dude, they're in my opinion the best arrows out there. Next up, Catalyst Archery. So I spoke with Brian, I think yesterday or day before, and he's got a new. I don't know if he even wants me to talk about this, but he's got a new design coming out. Catalyst Archery is a stabilizer company that also makes other archery products, but their stabilizers are just as good as the expensive stuff, but like half the price. So he's really working on some stuff to try and bring some really really high quality things to us, where you don't have to pay an arm and leg for it. So if you need new stabilizers, head over to Catalyst and check out what he's got. And last but not least is Unbound Archery. So Unbound is my string of choice. Partnered up with Nick a few months ago. I love these strings. I get no peep twist. They're already, yeah, they're already. Sorry, I was looking at it. For those who don't know, I dropped my bow at a tack and frayed up the string a little bit. So I was actually looking at it to make sure it's still good, which it is. So that should show you how good of strings these things are. If you want some new strings, especially for some of those older bows that you've got, Nick got you covered. He can do any color you want. He also does this thing called a Crayola package. which is just a bunch of random colors, and it actually comes out pretty sick. So, yeah, go support them. Go support all of our partners. Thank you to all the partners that help make this podcast happen. Absolutely love you guys, and thank you all who are getting involved in the giveaways. So yeah, that's all the partners. And you guys know, before we get into it with the guest, always I have to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm probably gonna make this one a little not short, but just straight to the point. The point is Jesus saves. Okay. If you don't know who Jesus Christ is, I really, really recommend you get to know who he is, or at least give him a shot. Because you'll be blown away by what he'll do. That doesn't mean that if you give your life to Christ, that your life's going to get a lot better. Actually, it sometimes turns out the opposite. I myself have been battling some stuff recently, and it's the only thing that I've really learned is that through all the fights, through the fire and the flames, basically, he's there and he never turns away. You just have to trust in him. You just have to put your faith in him, and he will change you, because when you give your life to Christ, you become a new creature, right? He changes you from your old self to your new self, and the new self, my new self. I like the guy. The old self, not so much. So I just want to, and I want to use this platform to bring all the glory to God and give him as much praise as possible. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So yeah, just give it a thought, open a Bible, read, see what God's trying to tell you. But that's my preacher moment. So yeah, let's get into it with Cody D'Acquisto from Lone Wolf Custom Gear. All right, y'all. So you missed me glazing Cody before we started recording, but I am so excited about this episode. We have got Cody D'Acquisto from Lone Wolf Custom Gear on here. I have really been paying a lot of attention lately to what you and your dad put out there, right? I'm extremely new to the mobile hunting side of things, and you guys are the guys that I look to, and it's like, how do I do this? And I mean, dude, you've got a ton of great knowledge, a ton of history, like giant deer, all that stuff. And then there's Lone Wolf, which I'll tell you right now, playing with the stuff that you guys sent and figuring it out and using what I've got, comparing it to the stuff I was using last year, night and day. I mean, there's literally no comparison. So thank you for coming on the podcast and taking time out of your schedule to do this.
Hell yeah, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk whitetails. I'm happy to chat up on anything we want. Yeah, gear. Yeah, the gear's always been a passionate thing, and this is where it gets, I mean, just to touch on that briefly, but this is where I think it gets a little how do I put it? It's just it's always been natural, the gear side of things, because we're so into hunting and the way in which we hunt lends to needing the gear that we produce. So,
Mhm.
you see it all over. A lot of people get into an industry to produce a product to make money. This was really never like that. It sounds cliche, but honestly, like that's like Lone Wolf was birthed from an aggressive, hardcore mobile hunter who needed better products, and that was my old man back in the day. And there just wasn't light enough stuff. It wasn't simple enough. It wasn't quick enough, and that's what he, just wanted to make. And he started out just making the gear for himself, and it caught on, and people took note to it, and um, it's one of those things too. Like you can have some good gear. But when you pair it with really good success, it just catapults everything to a new level, because you start to kill deer, you start to get consistent, or you start to, have a track record for things like that. And then people start asking, oh, well, what kind of gear is he using? What does he use? Oh, and it kind of like, so I believe that the early days were the perfect storm of a really talented hunter and a really uh, just great mind for design.
Yeah.
And that's going way back, man. That was the birth of it. That was before my time. And so when I came into it, um, I feel like it was a blessing and a curse for me. But the blessing was that, like, the first thing put in my hands was the best gear there is.
Mhm.
And So everything, so as soon as I reached a point to where I needed to up my game and up my process and make my equipment better, I was making the best equipment on the market better. So, like that was always my benchmark, and that led to where we're at today with like the custom gear stuff and just always trying to innovate and make it a little better. Listen to the hunters out there that are using it, that are putting it through the paces, and just yeah, it's been a long process. It doesn't happen overnight. And just like anything, man, it takes time. And yeah, I'm stoked that you're stoked about the gear.
Yeah, it honestly, what's funny is so I'm running the V2 doubles and then the .75. And so last year was actually my first year hunting pretty much full time out of a hang on, but it had the Versa button and it was, the simple loop it around, bring it around the tree, strap it. And then when I got the V2 doubles, because me and Zach months ago, we were talking about like, because I was gonna stick with what I knew, right?
Mhm.
But then Zach kept pushing the V2s, and I'm like, okay, let me look into it. So I watched some of your stuff on YouTube that was going through the breakdown of how to use it and, why it's kind of better. And I kid you not, Cody, the first time once those sticks came in and I literally spent 2 hours putting them together because I was being so meticulous with it. But as soon as I got it done, I go up to this tree in my yard and I put your video like on the I guess the foot peg of the stick, and I'm watching you like loop it around and then bring it back. And I must need to hit the gym or something because when you brought it through and you're like tighten this down and then loop it, I did that like probably 3 times. I either did it wrong or I just didn't do it tight enough because the stick never fully, like, it would not sit there by itself. I eventually figured it out, right? But
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, I got
I
it.
was
Don't
about to say
worry.
this.
Don't
I was
worry.
about to say this isn't sounding good, but okay.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. I
yeah.
got it. I got it. But yeah, man, then I started playing with the stick, really the sticks and the stand. And I mean, those videos you put out are so detailed that a monkey could do it. Like it literally, you go through every single thing to where
Yeah.
you can't fail. So,
Are you talking about like the hanging video or video? Like
uh,
in my
probably.
opinion, brother, like one of the biggest things that we have to work on as a team and as a company is more videos like that because coming from like my mind in the type of person I am, like when I get something,
Mhm.
I need to put it through the paces. I need to feel it. But in my mind is always thinking about those things. And I got to realize that not everybody out there is like that. And I think that we fall a little short on those. So I started to try and do more videos like, hey, okay, let's look at the proper way to hang these things. This is what we want to avoid. This is what is good. This is what is bad. And even with that, I do think it's important for everybody to know, no matter what gear you get, no matter who you buy it from, run it a little bit, and everybody's going to come up. You're going to find your little groove that you might start hanging it a little different than me, but you'll use those main principles and you'll
Yeah.
see what works better for you. And so, yeah, I definitely encourage people like you did, get them, put them together, um, beat them down in the backyard a little bit. And that's another thing too, when you want to start talking about efficiency and how to pack your stuff. I got a lot of stuff planned this coming into this fall for um, what I do on an efficiency basis for packing, for ascending, for breaking down, because that's when you really start to get into the fine details. Once you learn the bones, you can hang everything. You feel really solid, and really confident in your capability of okay, rock solid sticks, no matter what type of tree, no matter how crooked they are. Those things just, it's like anything, repetition, man. It's like, um, cleaning a gun or anything like that. So.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, because again, I'm very new to this. How do you when I hung stands last year, it was kind of a process, right? Like I had no way of carrying the sticks with me or anything like that. What is your method when you go into the woods that you've got your sticks on the stand, right? Like they're plugged in, tightened down, everything's good. You get to the tree, then what?
Um, I mean, yeah, my process for picking a tree is pretty in depth. And once I get the tree picked out, I'm to the point where and it's hard to explain really, but I can set the stand with my mind visually
Mhm.
before I even set it. So I'm really trying to do a lot of that legwork before I start. Like that's where I think a lot of people get into a bad spot and they have, those. those setups from hell, or those nightmare,
Like
the
I had
ones where
last year.
you're pouring sweat, an hour and a half has gone by, like
Yeah.
it's into prime time and you're still not set up. I
Yep.
think a lot of that comes from not like not being able to read the tree properly, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't read the tree properly, you can get yourself into a little bit of a nightmare there. So that's something that comes with time. But yes, I'm reading the tree, but really my process is the stand comes off my back one time. If you follow anything I do, I'm most minimal I can be. So a lot of times it's no pack. If it is a pack, it's one of the small waist packs or half pack or this new little pack that I've been prototyping the last couple of years. It's always very small. So
Mhm.
that's usually on my stand. It goes back on my person. But yeah, I take the stand off. I take my sticks off. This is another reason why I only use two sticks. It's an efficiency thing. It's also a height thing, and there's a lot of benefit into it. But I prep my stand real quick. Just do a little strap prep once I take my sticks off. Throw it on my back over my pack. So whether my pack's on my waist or on my back, I usually put my stand over my pack. And
Mhm.
then I hang the first stick at ground level and I loop the aider around my shoulder and it's just kind of sitting there. Or if I want to put it in a belt loop or something, usually I just use the aider and just do a little shoulder over the shoulder strap. So it's just
Dude, I
sitting
never
here.
thought of that.
Yeah, it's just
I
it's
never
super
thought of that.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you're wearing a like just like a
Yeah.
yeah, so you just put it over your shoulder. Um, I get the first stick up, and I usually gap them pretty good, or I'll use limbs. But yeah, so that way I leave the ground. Tie my or one thing I forgot, my bow. So I put my little tow rope on it. Leave it at the ground. Like I already have my pack on my back. I don't want to have to come down for sticks. I don't need to anyway. So
Yeah.
I just ascend up, put my second stick on. Obviously, hang my stand hook my harness up, pull the bow up, and I'm hunting. I'm rocking.
So
Um,
are you connected to the tree while you're hanging sticks?
I do not connect to the tree while sticks.
Oh, okay.
So this is one thing that's I get this a lot at the road shows too because being a tree stand, being a stand guy. Now, if you're a saddle guy and you're comfortable with that, you know, um, I know a lot of close buddies who run saddles and
Yeah.
they have the linemen's set up as they're going. I like to keep the principle of I like to be hooked into the tree every time I step into a stand and step out of the stand. So usually on my ascent, I am not staying hooked up. The reason for this being is the type of timber I hunt and how thick it is and how monotonous it is.
Hmm.
It's actually sometimes a disadvantage for me, not only on efficiency, but safety to be trying to fumble with a strap while I'm trying to hang sticks. And it's like if I'm climbing up an apple tree, I mean, like I'm sure you've picked apples as a kid or maybe even
Yeah.
now, maybe on the weekend or whatever. You're climbing a Christmas tree or something or the jungle gym like I ain't most of the time I'm not messing around trying to hook that thing on there. And this might not be the best thing I should be saying for a tree stand manufacturer, but it's one of those things where I'm not going to bullshit you. I like to be as transparent as I can. So, and being I'm usually hunting no more than 10 feet from the ground most of the time.
Yeah.
But and I do know that as a statistic, most of the falls happen in tree stand hunting. Like if they do happen, it's usually that from like in the stand falling asleep or that
Mhm.
transition from sticks to stand. So I like to always make sure I'm connected there. So what I'll typically do is I always have my harness on. I scout in it. That's one reason why, and I've been doing this for shit well before the saddle game, well before I was using a rock harness like for, I don't know, maybe I don't even know how many years now, but a long,
Yeah.
long time. A very, very lightweight, low profile rock harness. And so that's always on my person. And I always have my tree tether and I rig up a custom tree tether. Um, it's you just a simple pressing knot. It's like uh, what is it? What do I got? Double carabiner, pressing knot. But I usually have a custom tree tether, right? And it
Yeah.
links right into my connection point. So that tree tether is right on my belt at all times. There's no putting on a harness, no nothing. So it's always there, right? So
Yeah.
when I get up to my second stick, right after I hang my stand, I wrap that tree tether around above my seat. So there's no issue, there's no catching anything. And I link in, I step in, I hunt, step out, and then when I step out onto that first stick, I unclip, put it back on my belt, and descend. So that's
Gotcha.
my process with the harness.
Okay. I might try something like that because like I feel like I'm still pretty new to the whole, because like I said earlier, I hunted out of a climber, right? And
See, yeah, yeah.
in
And
Georgia, we don't really have like some of the one of so I'll sort of lay out what I've been doing this off season. That spot I was telling you about that's decently small. Last year it had 8 shooter bucks on it, right? So it's got quality, it's got potential.
you
And
talking about
I
this
got
3 acres?
Yeah, dude. So
Oh,
let
okay.
me let me explain the setup. So it's 3 acres, but it's really like a funnel
It's the
or
right
a
it's the right
it
3 acres.
yes. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I got it from a buddy, like one of my best friends that got me into hunting. And I think I started hunting in 2019. I helped him drag 2 bucks out of there that year, and one of them was an absolute slammer. Well, for Georgia, right? Like our area, I think a good buck's like 120, 130. He killed his biggest deer over there, which was a 132, right? And it doesn't look like a 132. If I sent you a picture of this thing,
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah.
deceiving, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and every year he's killed stuff over there. And so when I got permission, because he moved on to a couple different spots and I was kind of struggling at the time. Um, Dude, I had no joke, just went in there guns blazing. And I mean, there was a lot of good bucks on that property, but I was still hunting out of a climber, right? So I'd have to pick the straightest tree. And let's just say there weren't any. They're all kind of leaning a
Mm.
little bit. So I was saddle hunting out of a climber. Um, just had to make it work. And then last year is when I actually started getting into the hang on stuff. So I hit Zach up after he came on the podcast the first time, and I sent him a picture, like, or a video of a 360 video of where these deer, where the food was at, and just asked him, I'm like, hey, watch this and tell me what tree I need to get into. It's before I ever hung anything
Mm.
up. Of course, he picks one of the biggest trees that's there, and it's like in the thickest stuff. I'm like, dude, I can't get into that. I mean, you really kind of can't. It's rough,
He
right?
picked the biggest tree?
That's what it. Yeah, I don't. I think in the video you couldn't really tell how big it was because
Yeah.
when he took a screenshot and circled it, he's like, go there, and it's kind of funny actually because it was right on the trail that the deer use. It's almost like he had been there before, and I was like, all right, cool. So I go in there with all my stuff, and the tree is like way too wide for me to go in.
Yeah.
So the video must have been misleading, but I I listened a lot to like especially what you have talked about with how high you get. And I mean, I going into this was afraid of heights and I got over that. And then I hear you talking about, yeah, I don't go higher than I think the max you said is like 12 foot, right? Unless you have to go higher. And I heard
Yeah.
that and it clicked. I'm like, that's my guy. I was like, I don't want to have to go too high. And I thought I knew what I was doing, picked a tree last year, didn't realize because I didn't look at it that I was getting skylined the entire season. And I had stuff in front of me, but it wasn't enough. So then
Yeah.
this year, knowing that, I picked out another tree that at about 10 to 12 foot, right behind me, it's perfect cover. And it's actually the tree that Josh has killed all these deer out of. So I'm like,
Mm.
probably should have done that first, you know?
Yeah. That's a big thing. There's a couple things that people miss there, or that's a huge thing. I've keyed in on when I talk to people, and I like kind of dissecting their situation and identifying the sticking point or whatever it may be. And like a lot of people don't understand that, and it's more than the immediate cover. It's really the distant cover, which people
Mhm.
don't conceptualize as cover because it's essentially back cover. But yes, like nothing's worse than a skyline setup. Nothing's gonna bust you more, or no, nothing's gonna ruin your hunts more than that because they're
Yeah.
they're gonna they're
It,
gonna see you.
it got so bad that I had all those 8 deer, all those bucks showing up. And by mid October, which is usually the best time over there. I mean, literally the last week of
Yeah,
October there is on fire. They all
they were
disappeared.
done.
They
Yeah,
were
they were gone.
gone. for like a month. So
Yeah, and that's actually a good point too. Like a lot of people think that if you have the right piece of ground, it doesn't matter what you do, or like that. That's not true. I mean, I hear it I hear it from both. Hear it yin and yang, right? Both sides of the
yeah,
spectrum. You get guys who claim that you can't do anything, you can't drop a toenail clipping without scaring every deer in the county
yeah,
away because it's the most pressured piece, and then you have the opposite. You have like, oh yeah, like yeah, and then you have the guys that, oh, you can get away with anything, it doesn't matter. Neither are true. And it's so a lot of people, you have to, even if you have a really good piece, even if it's private ground and it's managed, it's whatever, you still gotta be somewhat smart if you're getting in the shit,
yeah.
and day in and
Well, I
day
feel
out.
like each spot is situational, because the spot that I lost, I mean, there was a bubble, I could go up to because it wasn't big. It was 7 acres, but it was like connected to probably hundreds
Yeah,
of
yeah.
open big woods and stuff. And I mean, there was good potential there. And I learned over the years of hunting it because I used to just go in there, and do whatever I wanted, right? I'd go hunt every weekend, same spot, put food out, think that some 5 or 6 year old buck that is showing up on camera in the middle of the night is just going to decide, yeah, let me go in that field where I know that guy is at, but it's fine. He won't shoot me. He's just a bird watcher. Like I literally was thinking this deer is not going to figure it out, and he figured it out. But I figured out you can go to the field. The second you go in those woods, game over, because you could see it on camera, like the reaction that they would have. And so
Hmm.
it's like you said, man, it just takes time. Like you have to learn, what's what and what your spot allows. I mean,
Hmm.
I've hunted places that I've literally fed the deer and I've watched them come running down the hill and they don't care. I had a 5 year old buck do that. I've also hunted places that if you even think of a deer, they don't even show up. So it's like
They're
it
mind
just takes
readers, yeah.
time.
Well, that's
But
another thing too, is it's just like you will have a different reaction to somebody saying something new that I will. Deer are like that too. Like they're not all the same.
yeah,
There's no one tactic works for every single situation or deer. Yeah, they just differ. And it's so much of you know, I don't even think really. Yeah, I mean, age has some to do with it, but really it's experiences and what, the type of stuff that they encounter. I think it's just it's their learned behavior.
yeah. So I want to change gears a little bit here. So you've killed some deer before, right? Like you've killed a few deer. Um, some pretty big deer. What was the journey for that like? Because I mean your dad, I remember he was cracking me up, man. I have to put this out there when he was on the Hunter podcast with you, and he's like, I'm not gonna kill nothing but a 200-inch typical whitetail world record. And I'm like, Andre, I'm like, you're telling me if a 160 steps out, you're not going to shoot it? Like I was on your team. I'm like, I get it, man, but it's a 160, And so what was that like? I mean, coming up, having him as your dad and sort of getting to where you're at now.
Um, yeah, it's a tangled web. I say this a lot, but it's a blessing and a curse, man. There's positives and negatives to any situation. I'm grateful for it because it taught me it taught me a lot. It shaped me into the hunter I am, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't, there's things, hindsight's always 2020, or you like to think back and wish you had it different, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I would change anything because I feel like I'm at a good spot now and I've reached that. But I used to, I used to be a little bummed that I kind of never got that time to just go out and hunt and kill whatever. Now this is nobody's fault but my own. It's just the way I'm
Hmm.
wired. I'm very driven and competitive, and also, wanting to, get the approval of my old man. Like, he was about big deer. That's what he
Yeah.
lived it. He freaking breathed it. Like there's nobody out there who was just, I still don't think there's not a person out there that is more serious about whitetail hunting than he is. Like it's
Yeah.
just, and I grew up with that. Like that was you got to understand, I thought that was normal. I thought everybody who hunted whitetail was like
Yeah.
this.
Thought
And
everybody's dad is like that, and then
well,
that's a whole different
now
beast, man.
and not that I thought everybody's dad was like that because I grew up in the city and none of my
Mm,
friends hunted and I didn't know any hunters. Like we were in the city. Like
yeah.
so like I was bringing deer racks to show and tell, and like people are like, "What the heck? Like, what is it? Like, what is this?" And
Yeah.
I remember there was this one time, man. I had a buddy. This was even in maybe middle school or something. We all showed back up at my house after like a basketball game or something, in the fall. And I walk through the door and I come in and we had a pretty small house in the city there. And my dad's at the kitchen table, like right where we eat, like right where you walk in, and he's got this skull plate cracked open and he's caping this deer he just shot. And there's a brain sitting on the table and there's like just I mean like there's just, there's bone saw there. It's just like right on the
Yeah.
kitchen table and my mom's like cooking couple of feet away, like and I just walk in, I grab something to drink, and I didn't even realize that the dude is freaking out. He's like, what? He's like, what is that? What's going on? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, so I mean, I don't know. I grew up around it, but I knew nobody that I knew hunted, but I thought the other hunters out there. I'm like, okay, well, our other people out there somewhere, like they're all like this. They're all
Yeah.
diehards, and as a kid, then I'd go to I was jacked up to go to the trade shows, like I get to go. I get to be with my old man. I get to, all his cool, crazy friends, all these big time deer hunters, and they'd work the trade shows and sell tree stands, and I would be hanging around the booth, and I'd get to show up for the day and spend the night in a hotel and things like that. And but anyway, so like with that being said, I know as a kid seeing that type of drive and commitment it changed my wiring. And I remember as a kid, I made a post on this one time. I haven't really talked about it on any podcast, but one of my one of my best memories or like clearest memories as a young kid that really solidified what this is was we used to go glassing. And it was one of those things where like, my old man had an old little standard extra cab Toyota pickup. It's like a 93 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And like after dinner, we would load up in that truck with those. He had the Swarovski binos were like this big back then, and like the eyepieces were just like
Yeah.
we grab the binos, we'd load up in the truck, John Denver on the cassette because that was like the one of the only two cassettes he had in his truck. It was the Eagles and John Denver. It was the two. So like just all these things, right? So we get in there and we'd cruise out of the city to like the skirting the suburbs, right? To or to the properties where he would hunt and the,
Yeah.
the the pieces. So we go out there and do the evening glassing round, and it was just same thing. Just cruise out there, glass till dark, come back, cruise out there. And I never knew what it was then, but on one of those glassing missions, we spotted a giant, and that giant ended up being the number two typical bow kill in the state of Wisconsin at that time. And he killed it that year I think 2 days into the season, and it
Oh
was
my
because of
goodness.
that intel we got glassing. And I remember like when I put the pieces together of like this was years down the road. I
Yeah.
didn't. It was never then. It was like that work, that day in and day out. Like there was no cameras back then. Nobody was hanging cameras. It was like you scouted and you glassed and you hunted. And if you missed a hunt, you fucked up because you didn't get the intel. You didn't pull cameras. It's like it was one of those things, and um, I don't know. It was just different. So like those type of things. So those type of things were instilled in me.
Yeah.
I could see that consistent work. But on the same note, when I started hunting, I grew up surrounded by big deer like that. So when I started hunting, like logically in my head, I'm seeing Pope and Young caliber deer, and I'm like, well, I don't want to shoot them. Like that's not gonna look. I can't hang that in the house. Like
Yeah.
that was my thought process, and my dad's pretty rough around the edges, dude, and he's not shy about talking about his opinions about deer and about raising the bar and about wanting big deer, and he, set his bar to a Boone and Crockett caliber, and his ultimate goal was a world record typical, and And I loved that, and I wanted that same thing. I was like, okay, I want big deer too. Like
Yeah.
I need to fit in, I need to earn my keep, I need to be in that place. So that was my mentality as a 12-year-old kid coming into it. Um so in a way, it was not optimal, but then again, like it had me just hitting it hard, grinding and holding out for bigger deer, which ultimately got me killing bigger deer sooner and more consistent. And so yeah, I mean so yeah, I'd say a little bit of both. That's kind of how it was. Um yeah, I've told this story before, but the first deer my first buck I ever shot was like it was a 10 point and it scored about 124 inches. Didn't make Pope and Young, and I just remember like as a kid, like 14, being like really bummed and thinking
Yeah.
like, man, I shot a deer like that I shouldn't have shot. Like I should have let this one go. And that it's it sucks. Um, but that's how it was for me. There's nothing I can
Yeah.
do about that. And um I do think there's a balance and there's a blend and to each their own. And as hunters evolve, like I think it's very important. I do think that the caliber of deer is important. I think it's important that we as hunters, like I think we set goals, and we stick to them. And what I realized um, that trophy hunting did for me um, after a couple seasons of or like quick success is it keeps you out there, man. It keep
Yeah.
it like I mean, if it's about just killing anything with a rack, that ain't hard. We can all get out there and do that. And not that we're looking for hard, but if you're really into hunting, like raising the bar keeps you out there and it keeps you in it and it keeps you learning and it keeps you getting dialed. It's like if you wanted to be a boxer and that's all you did was just box people who didn't know how to box and like yeah, you were winning all the time and it was great. Like how great would that be? Like, wouldn't don't you
Yeah.
want to don't you want to hone those skills against a better opponent? Don't you want to like get better and advance and ascend and like that's always been like my mindset with it and so I think it's important to have that there without putting yourself completely like out of reality because we
Yeah.
because we also have to be we all can't just be sitting there holding out for 195-inch deer like that's because those are not very common deer so we got to
Yeah.
find that blend.
Yeah. I can't be sitting in Georgia thinking that on my 3 acre spot, I'm going to see a 350-inch deer. It's just not going to happen.
No,
Like
yeah, yep,
they don't
yep,
exist down here.
yep,
Um,
yep.
no, it's funny you bring up like the memory that you have because like when you said that, I immediately remembered something me and my dad used to do. And my dad wasn't a hunter. Like he hunted pheasants and stuff, but um I'm originally from Illinois, like
Oh,
Schaumburg near Chicago.
yeah.
And so I grew up, like my uncle hunted, but he'd always go, funny enough, Wisconsin. And I'd ask him to take me. And my experience up until getting in the woods was always playing Deer Hunter. If you ever played that on the computer back when we had dial up, that was my childhood. And so I'm not gonna it's kind
Deer
of
hunter?
yeah, you ever play Deer Hunter? You know the game that's on the
No,
computer? You
not duck
sit there.
hunter, not
Oh,
Nintendo.
no, it's
You're
like a
talking.
computer game.
Oh
Like,
no, okay, no,
yeah.
I've never played that one.
It was one of those ones where you get on there, you pick a place, you sit there, you hit the worst sounding deer call, the same rattle sound, everything. You just click a button, right? And I'm sitting there playing this game with my uncle's 140-inch 8 point that's sitting right above me, and I'm just looking at it like I'm gonna kill one of those one day. And then you click the rattle, and then you just see this little pixelated thing off in the distance on the game, and it's coming in. You can hear it, and it's just so. I used to think that that's what hunting was. You just go out there, you make a bunch of noise, and a 150 shows up, and you shoot them, put the crosshairs on them, hear the gun go off, and next thing you know, you say, "That's a nice buck," and it's just like that's not what it is at all, right? But the memory I was talking about is like me and my dad when I was little, like probably 4 years old. we lived in the city too, right? And I think like 20 minutes from where we lived, there was a game preserve that they didn't allow hunting, but there was tons of deer. And we would pull off the side of the road in this little, I guess, emergency lane or whatever, grab the binos, and we'd watch this field. And I'm telling you, to this day, I mean, I've had a couple 160s on camera here, which for Georgia is crazy, but up there, that 160 was tiny compared to what I was seeing in the field.
Oh, dude, if you were in the yeah, if you were in that Chicago area, like I mean, dude, there's absolute hammers and
Yeah.
you
I mean, I
know,
saw bucks fighting. Like there were two bucks fighting across the road from us that you could hear it. And then we'd turn around because we'd sit there with the windows down and everything. And we heard it and we turn around and all I see is these two bucks, like giant bucks standing up and they're pawing at each other. And then they get back down. You can hear them crash. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
y'all are nuts. Like this, I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
who said what, but dang.
I mean that's
Um,
yeah, that's the biggest deer in the country, man, are in that. You know,
yeah,
that's the Mecca.
it was just a core memory that got unlocked when you brought that up. But no, I mean, I can understand like it, or at least I can try to understand like having that be your childhood, right? Where you grow up and you just see giants everywhere. Like you can see behind me. I've got a spike I killed last year after going 3 years without killing a buck. Then my first bow buck was back there. It's actually the first year I ever shot with a bow. Um, and he's only 102. And that's the biggest deer I've ever shot. Because I used to think it was easy. And then I come to find out it's not. So I think that's why I gravitate so much like what you guys preach and what you teach, because down here, man, the culture really is just put corn out and they'll show up. And I mean, it's fun and
Yeah.
all, but I don't really like doing that, you know? Like that's why I'm going to a
Yeah.
lot of public this
Yeah.
year because I want to
Yep.
have the challenge,
And
right?
that's the thing too, man. Like you know, we talk about deer hunting or like you got deer hunting. That's one thing. Then you got, you know, you got your archery, your bow hunting, right? But even in those things, like, dude, there's so many different ways. Like, if you could ask 50 people what deer hunting is, what bow hunting is, what hunting out of tree stands is,
Yeah.
man, that was the big, and you'll get different things, right? Like Wisconsin has a very deep deer hunting culture, very much like Pennsylvania, very much like Michigan. It's like, hey, you know, it's November up north, drinking beer. We're probably at the cabin drinking more than we go hunting. And like
Yeah.
anybody
I'm
that
so glad
like,
you said that.
I mean, that's just what it is. It's just,
Dude, but
and
that's what it
it's,
was. That's
yeah,
why I
and it's
couldn't go.
great.
And I
Yeah,
never knew.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
grow up and my uncle's like, "Do you understand what we were doing there?" I was like, "No, what?" And he told me, I was like, "Yeah, I'm glad you didn't take me." Like that would have been
yeah.
terrible. It's not for kids. Oh
And I
man.
mean, and that's the thing. Like, I never had deer camp. Like, I didn't know what deer camp was. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't do that. Like, I mean, because it wasn't it that wasn't deer hunting. And even when like I would tree stand hunt and I would talk to guys. I remember early years as a kid, like talking to people and saying you know, I'm a hunter, like I hunt deer, you know, tree stand, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I just can't do that. Like I don't have the patience enough to." And anybody you talk to and you said you tree stand hunt for deer, they literally think sitting in orange from sun up to sundown on the back 40 in a ladder stand and just waiting and watching paint dry.
Yep.
It'd be like you saying you like fishing and the guy everybody immediately thinks sitting there with a bobber off a pier just waiting for the bobber, no action, no nut. And
That was
it
my
was a
childhood too.
it was a big thing that like I had to and I would explain to people like no you don't understand like what I do isn't like that like we're
Yeah.
like it's super active and you're moving around and like you're in you know and it's
Yeah. You're like, I go
like
find them.
it's like tactical and
Yeah.
they didn't get it you know and now that's like everything that's like that's what it's about but yeah so you have different ways to do it and it's not that it's hard or easy but the way in which you do it makes it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know, if you want to grab the 30-06 and sit in the blind, oh, like I mean, that's just it's still deer, but it's a different way. You get a different
Hmm.
experience. It's gonna have different challenges, and yeah, it's
Well,
it's
and see,
hard. So
that's why I've killed one deer with with a gun. That was 7 years ago. And I remember sitting there and thinking to myself after it was all said and done, I need to get into bow hunting because this was too easy. And I'm not taking away from gun hunters, right? Like there are challenges in its own right with that. But I've gotten into arguments with buddies of mine. It happens every single deer season. And they're like, man, why don't you grab? Because I still have that 308. It's upstairs. I haven't shot it
Hmm.
in years, but they're like, why don't you grab that gun, man? I'm like, dude, no, because I can tell you that if I kill the biggest buck of my life with that gun and not my bow, it's not going to mean as much and it's not going to have, I'm not going to feel like I accomplished as much as I wanted to. Like the challenge of bow hunting is, I don't want to say it's sacred, but in a way it kind of is, and that's the same thing with changing up like to the mobile game is I've sat in trees for hours and hours and not seen anything. And I don't like doing that. So now I'm going to change it up where
Yeah.
if I sit there and I don't like where I'm at, I'll move. I'll go find somewhere else. So I don't know. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
It's different to everybody.
Well, it's oh man, I had a good point when you were talking about the
Sorry.
no, 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 I'm just I lost my train of thought. I was trying to think of two things at once. Um, what were you talking about with
Guns,
oh
bow hunting.
man, what was that point you made with the lost it?
It'll come back.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, it'll come
it'll
back.
come
You were
back in
just,
closing.
but it yeah, when you were talking about the three, you said 308 or oh yeah, you said you get in arguments with your buddies all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And it's funny because like that's what see that's what I try and get across to people too is like I thought immediately about turkeys and like how I hunt turkeys and all my buddies were like man turkeys aren't meant to be hunted with a bow, just get out there with a gun, like it's so much funner, it's so much, and I'm like you don't understand, dude. I'm like I'm just like, and in my mind, if I went out there with a shotgun, I would be done the first morning. I
Yeah.
would be out there. I'd have one good morning. I want to be out there all turkey season. Like I enjoy being out there. I enjoy the gobbles. I enjoy the
Yep.
setups. I enjoy getting close. I enjoy getting my butt kicked. Like that's what I enjoy. And it's funny because I've never been a person that was Mr. It's about the experience because most of those people back in the day who were saying that were just saying that because they weren't killing big deer.
Yeah.
I want big deer and I want the experience of the big deer. I want and not and like let's put this in any perspective. If we're in Maryland, right? And I want that big 140, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, or if we're I don't do any hunting down south, but like obviously it's location dependent. But when I say big deer, like that big deer for you could be a Pope and Young,
Yeah.
it could be 100-inch buck, like whatever it is. Or if you're hunting coos deer, like what you know what I'm saying? But it's like I am not out there just to kill a big buck. Like if you told me I could kill a big buck every year, the first day I'd go out, like, wouldn't you take that bet? Like, here, you take this, open door number one, and you'll kill a 180 every day, every year, the first day.
Yeah.
I would not want that door. Honestly, I
Yeah.
would not, because what would it mean?
It'd get old after
I,
like 2 seasons.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a 180 is like,
Yeah.
I'd love to have
180. I
that,
might take one.
but it's more than just the killing of the 180. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, I think that's just everybody's so, it's even with a turkey. Oh, just go out, like, get it done with, or hey, this is not what I want, man. It's just not what I'm after.
You know what I think it is?
I want what I want.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to bring this up because I see a lot of similarities in the way that we think about like the wood, like the experience in the woods and like why we're there. I think, and the not giving up too, like the challenging aspect. So you have a skateboarding background, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I skateboarded for 10 years before I moved out here with my wife, right? That was my entire life. So when when I was doing that, and I'm sure the same for you, there was a ton of tricks that we wanted to learn, but you don't know them overnight. So what do? You spend hours and hours and hours and hours. I was in my garage or I was at the skate park and I'm practicing. And eventually you
Hmm.
figure it out. Well, then you want to take that trick down some stairs or something. Well, guess what? Then you fall. And so now you're like, okay, I'm not going to let that beat me. So then you keep going, maybe break a bone or two. Been there, done that. And you eventually get it. And I think because, just using you and me as an example, because we used to do that and didn't give up, now it's like when you go in the woods, you like the challenge. You don't give up. Say you go someplace. I know there was one buck you were hunting a couple years ago or maybe a year ago that I think you shot him, either missed or made a bad shot or something, and you spent, I don't remember how long, but you tracked him back down and killed him. And like that's the perfect example is you set your mind to it and you get it done. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Perseverance is definitely a thing of it, and consistency, man. Consistent effort over time equals results. Like it's a very simple equation. It's a very simple principle. There's just for some reason it's hard for those to grasp. Um, I don't know why it's so hard to grasp. Sometimes I find it hard for me to grasp in a different situation. But if you
yeah,
think about it, like, right, if you think about skating, like, can you, can you hit rails like Nyjah, like in a fucking
no,
year? No, no, you cannot.
no,
Like those things, like, you'll
yeah,
probably never hit rails like Nyjah, but those things take, like, that dude was a prodigy. That dude was hitting rails since.
he was
Like,
six.
people don't, they don't think about that enough,
Yeah,
right? And it's or jujitsu, like, yeah, anything, right? Like, you don't just walk in and onto the mat and just whoop a black belt. Like, it just
yeah,
doesn't happen like that. It just takes some time, and the thing about it is like, but the difference is, I think, maybe where those barriers is, like, you don't just get lucky and land a Smith down a rail, that
yeah,
down a
no,
30 hand. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
no,
Now you can just you can walk out into the woods and get lucky and smoke a 200. And that
yeah,
happens every year. And that person is now the greatest gift to bow hunting, and they're selling, tutorials and DVD. Like, that happens a
we had
lot.
that happen last year.
That don't happen anywhere else in
Yeah,
anything. You don't just so but I think people need to look at it as more of like an art form, and just something that, yeah, man, you gotta um put in some time, be
yeah.
consistent effort. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Well, and like bringing up like Nija and what he's done, like coming up, Ryan Sheckler was my guy. Like that is who I looked up to in the skateboarding world. So what did
Yeah,
Shex do?
he got hated on so much when he
Yeah.
was a kid because he was
Try
so
looking
because he
like
was
him.
because
Try
he
looking
was so
like him.
good. I know, I know, I know.
When
I
I was a
I
kid,
felt
dude,
I used
oh
to
man,
feel bad for him because yeah, he was, yeah, he would crush, but
that was literally my nickname at the skate park was Shex. Like I had the
yeah,
shoes, I had the hair, all of that. And I tried to skate like him because I'm like, dude's a killer, right?
yeah, yeah.
But early on, it's pretty painful. Shex was going 10, 12 foot off of stuff. And I tried doing that and it resulted in, elbows getting busted up. I broke my ankle one time. Like, but again, I say all of that, like you were saying, it's the consistency, it's dedication. It's, I can't go out on, like, I'll tell you, to your point about someone killing a 200 just first time in the woods, I saw the biggest deer of my life on the hoof while in a tree my second year out, and it was on public land, and it was at least 160-inch deer. I'd never seen a deer that big before while doing that, and
Yeah.
I completely botched it. If you put me in that same exact situation now, I'd probably be able to kill that deer because at least I know a little bit more, and I'm more comfortable
See,
in the woods than I was.
yeah. And that's what's so crazy about this too, is there's not, like, there really is nothing like it. I say this all the time, and it's like, oh, it's like a cliche thing that a bow hunter would say or whatever. But even if you want to compare skating or any sport, like,
Yeah,
there is no, like, you can learn a kickflip and you get real
yeah,
good at that kickflip, right? Then let's say kickflip becomes your jam and you can
yeah,
pop that thing so high, right? And then you can hit a kick. It's like, let's think of like a Neen Williams heel flip, right?
yep,
Okay, all right, we got the heel flip is it's your superpower. There, it's not like that in deer
yeah,
hunting. Like, there's not just a way, there's not that one way that you can learn and get real good at. I mean, there's tactics, like
yeah,
there's tools in the bag that you can use, but things change so often. They're so different. Like the situation's different, the deer's different, the terrain is different, the
Yeah.
wind is different. Like there's always like there's this influx of factors. And then even when every factor's right and everything works, you can still mess up. And that's what
Hmm.
I think really gets that's what really hooks us because it is a true constant butt kicking,
Yeah.
a constant
Oh yeah.
test of your ability to keep going. And it yeah, man, it's just it's very tough. And you can be literally at the highest of high points or the lowest of low to the highest of high in 1 millisecond and then back to lower than when you thought you know what I mean? Like we've all been there, gassed out, burnt, like about to give up, like why am I even here? And then you hear a stick break. You hear that one twig, and then you get a little twinkle in your eye, and you look over your shoulder, and there's
And
just
it's
a
a spike.
I mean, well, or that. I mean, like whatever.
I'm
But
just
I'm
kidding.
I'm
Yeah.
going the other one, and it's a
Yeah.
giant, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my God. Now, everything has changed. It's ultimate. It's ultimate high now. There's nothing. But this is the best day of my entire. And you're like, this deer's dying. He's coming in. It's worked. It's finally paid off. Praise God. And then he comes in at 15 yards, and your dumbass draws too early, and he looks up at you and just flips you the finger and runs off. And
Yep.
then you're just down. You're like, that was my shot. That was my, I don't know, man. It's just,
I
it's,
had that exact thing happen to me on a
yeah,
deer I was hunting for 2 years. Um, 2 years ago. My daughter names all my deer that I hunt, right? Like if I have one on camera, I'll show her. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And she'll come up with some goofy name. So he was a big six, like 130-inch frame 6 point. And I mean, stout.
yeah,
And it was after I've told this story 1,000 times on here, but he was showing up pretty recently. This is that buck. Remember I told you there was a 5-year-old that I had basically trained all off
yeah.
season? That was him. I mean, I'd literally watch this deer during the summertime come running down the hill, and he'd stand there like 50 yards away while I was putting food out. And as soon as I drive off, he'd go right to it. Um, so I thought it was in the bag, and then like deer always do, he flips the script. So when we had Hurricane Helene come through, I actually hunted the evening that the hurricane moved out. And so I saw every single deer on the property that day. And I knew he was going to be around. And I stayed until dark, but probably 10 minutes before it was complete blackout. My buddy texted me at the spot that I was telling you about earlier, that 3 acres. He shot this really good, I think it was like 120, I think it was net 121, and then gross was like mid 120s. Which that's a whole nother story. But anyway, he texted me saying he needs help. So I'm like, all right, give me a few minutes. I think he's gonna show up because everything was perfect. Well, time goes by. I can just barely see my pins, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go down. I'm getting down. So what do I do? Take the bow, drop it down, and as soon as my cam hits the ground, I look up, and that sucker's 15 yards away, coming from the opposite way he always does. And I'm like, oh, I can still make this happen. So I try to slowly get the bow up. I get the bow about 3 feet off the ground, and he goes right to me. Bow's spinning. I'm not moving. My knees are shaking. Like I'm about to fall out of this stand. And he looks at me and he looks at the bow, and the bow's still moving, and he just gone. So I'm like, all right, I need to get this thing up. So I get it up as quick as I can, get the arrow back on. I'm clipped on, and I'm just sitting there, still shaking like crazy. And I'm like, he's got to come back through because the way it was on 1 acre, um, at my father-in-law's parents' place. And so the way it was set up is it was a power line, and the main road was where he went. And so I knew if he's going to come back, he's got to either circle back around, or he's going to come through the little patch of woods, and he's going to walk out at 25 yards. 5 minutes go by. I can barely see anything at this point. It's still legal shooting light, mind you, but my pins are fading pretty fast. And I'm like, okay, he's not going to come out. He's a 5-year-old deer at least. There's no way he's that dumb. So what do? I go to put the bow down. Once again, cam hits the ground. Guess who comes out at 25 yards? Trike.
Mm,
And tried it again. And that was the last time I ever saw him. And so it's like, I did everything right till I didn't. I had him. If I would have waited 10 minutes and then, and I learned from that. When I hunt evenings, I do not put my bow down until it's like I can't shoot anymore. And Yeah. So I learned from like that experience and just had to accept like, dude, I may have wanted to swan dive off of this tree stand. I did consider it, but it kept me going back. And then he disappeared, and I was probably the most depressed I've been in a while because I'm like, dude, where did he go? Um, but yeah, man, I agree. Like that's what's addicting about whitetails. And I guess that's why, your dad's YouTube's Whitetail Addictions, because it literally is addicting. It's like the best drug on the planet. So, man, I
Yeah.
I want to ask you though, before we wrap this up, because we probably got, I don't know, another 10, 15 minutes or so, before I have to get the kids to bed. But so on this podcast, I'm very open about my faith, right? I always do my best to talk about Jesus and stuff like that. And I heard you talk about hunting in a way I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about before on, I think it was the Hunter podcast. I don't remember, but you said something about you've got like a spiritual outlook on this. Can you kind of explain that?
Oh man, you'd have to be a little more specific. Was I talking about give me a little more context as far as
So from what I
because this
remember,
is
it
a
was,
deep bag.
yeah, I mean, we can go as deep as you want, but yeah, I think you were talking about like the spiritual aspect of hunting, right? Like just the what it means and like how you view it, because some guys go out there and they're like, I'm just gonna kill the big buck, right? And we kind of touched
Yeah.
on this a little bit earlier, but you you just explained
Um,
it in a way that I'm like, I've never thought about it this way.
um man, yeah, I wish I could remember exactly.
Me too.
But well, as far as like the because um like I do believe that bow hunting is I've called it a soul food for sure. And it's definitely spiritual. There's a connection, I think, like when you tap into it to the full circle spectrum. And
Mhm.
and maybe this was one of those podcasts where I was talking about how like we as people need hunting more than ever now, because we're so disconnected and
Yeah.
we're so jammed up with technology and screens and we're in this negative feed or in this negative loop here, between all that and hunting like rejuvenates the soul and getting out there and becoming like putting yourself into nature, right? And you insert yourself into the circle, right? So you're
Yeah.
out there, you're in pursuit of game, you kill game, you eat game, you harvest it, you eat it, the whole circle. It's such a rewarding experience. And um there's just a connection to it, man. It's I don't I don't know how to explain it. We'd have to like I can't really put my finger on how I might have
Yeah.
explained it before, but
Well, it's almost, see, I should have thought about that because like it almost isn't explainable. It's kind of something you just have to experience, you know? I mean, I've had
y-
so many times where I go in the woods and my mind is just racing about everything. And then I'll get up in the tree and it all just goes quiet. And I'm there to do one thing. I'm just enjoying, watching squirrels chase each other, except when they throw acorns at me, which I did have happen one time. Um, it's a long story, but yeah, it's just one of those things, dude. Like I do remember you saying one thing in that same episode where you were talking about the mindset when you go in the woods. Because
okay.
you were
Yeah.
talking about like if you go in there and you're just like, I'm the baddest thing, I'm gonna kill everything. And I think you were theorizing, right? But I think like the way you put it was that if you go in there with that mindset, probably not. I mean, you can go in there confident, but if you just go in there like, oh, I'm, just here and whatever, I think you said something like the deer can pick up on that, you know?
Yeah, so yeah, so in that aspect, there's a couple different things there. I talk a lot about the predator mentality, and it's the same reason why I don't scout with my bow, because I do believe that, I believe your energy is super important while hunting. So like first and foremost, and this is like the foundation of it. And for one, the woods is a lot of our escapes. We like to think of it that, but if you don't get your stuff in check before you get out there, you're escaping. You may be somewhat escaping, but that energy you carry, that negative energy you carry out there, the animals pick up on that. I firmly believe that. It's the same thing with that predator energy. It's, you see it all the time. Uh, a lion who has no desire to eat, who is completely fed, does not spook like these gazelles. You see it like in,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things now. And that's like why when I scout, I have that thought process. And anytime I'm in the woods, I try and just be there and be with everything. Just be a part of everything. Not like what would you call it? Not can't grab the word. Not invasive,
Yeah.
right? You need to insert yourself and just be a part of it, right? Like I like to flow through the timber, try and pick up what's going on, and just be there with it and not force it. Um, because those energies matter, and bringing the baggage in there is going to help you in a negative way too, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe that explains it. Maybe I've just been too
uh,
stressed.
yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like, I also believe I've been on a personal mission of mine, or for years now, and my mind's always racing, whether it's something I have to do, it's work, and for a long time, and we all do this, like you subconsciously bring that stuff into the timber, into the
Mm,
hunt. And I asked one guy I was on a podcast with, I said, hey, when's the last time you could remember being truly like present in a hunt? Because me, I'll tell you what, like I'll admit it, like I am if I'm not thinking about an email that has to get sent out, or a project that has to be worked on, or something I didn't get done today, or that, like, man, I I beating myself up that I didn't, check all the boxes off. And if it's not one of those things, and it's not something about like the family or some other, it's the next spot, and it's the third move, and it's
yeah.
the fifth move. And okay, well, and if this doesn't happen by the third night, now this strategy is important. And it's important to be, I think, strict on yourself, and to be a go-getter, right? And to push yourself. But at the same time, you have to be able to cut that off. And you
Yeah.
have to be able to be present in the hunt, and really like it, to really connect and make it happen. And I've had some crazy experience, even like visualization, like in
I'm so glad you're bringing
stuff
this up.
and
I was
stuff
just
like
about to bring
that.
this up.
Yeah, and it's really just like I think it even goes down. It's like the ability to be present and be still. And I believe personally that that's the most, honestly, it's probably the best you could be at anything. But I think the most lethal hunters can do that,
Yeah.
and completely block out all that other stuff. And it's been something that I've been trying to get better at for a long time now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, man. Like you brought up
Not
the
easy.
visualization thing. That I have fully adopted that now, and it hasn't worked yet. There's a lot of factors from last year, but I would sit there and like I'd think back. I'm like, okay, this deer came in from this direction most of the time. What's it going to look like when he does it? What's he going to do? How am I going to handle this? And I go through like you said, a checklist, but like a checklist of, okay, when he comes walking out, don't freak out. Don't stand up. Just watch him. And then when the time is right, you'll know when it's right. Grab the bow, clip on, and make it happen. And I'll run through that the whole time I'm sitting there. Um, and it helps. I mean, it definitely helps. Now, of course, then, you get a little rinky dink spike that walks up and you haven't shot a buck in 3 years. And you're like, you know what? Lord, I asked you to send me something. I wasn't expecting this, but I said, send me anything. So let's get it. And then, 18-yard shot and you watch him die. And what's crazy is, man, is I got just as excited about that deer as I did the buck back to my right. And it's like, I will say big deer are great, but just getting that feeling from
Oh
something
yeah.
that small, Like again, it just gets so addicting, right? And there's one more thing I want to bring up before we wrap this up and changed my life, and it's because of you. You saved me a ton of money. So give your opinion on scent control because I've been sold on the gimmicks probably 100 times. And while I do think it can help, your explanation, your video you did like a year ago or whatever it was earlier this year,
Yep.
I mean, dude, I've watched that probably like 3 or 4 times. And me and my wife were watching it. And I don't know if you know that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio when he's like sitting on the couch and he sees someone, he points at it and he's like, what? Like that.
Oh, that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That was me. Cause you were saying all this stuff and I looked at Jess and I'm like,
Uh,
damn, he's making
I
so
need
much sense.
I need
Like,
to do a part two on that video. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of DMs on stuff from that video, and it sparked a um some good conversation. But
yeah.
yeah. So what do you want? Just like a brief overview of
Yeah,
my
just what's your
my
opinion of
my
it? Like, is it all bull crap?
uh
Is it
yeah, yeah. So I this is my So yes, first of all, I will say yes. All the scent control gimmicks you've been fed by the hunting industry is all bullshit. Like, take that to the bank. I don't care who, like, just you'll be better off if you just absorb that,
Yep.
accept it, and then go forward. Like, so I'd like to first off say that. Now,
Yeah.
secondly, these are like this is my opinion on this stuff, and this is how I look at whitetail hunting. And I think now I know that this is the difference between me and a lot of people, and this I think is why I'm no better. It's because I'm trying to think of a better way to put it. It's because I think of things like this and I put them in this type of scenario that I think I have more success than the average person.
Hmm.
And it's because of this, right? Um, so my take on a deer's nose is that or our scent in general is we cannot eliminate it. Like there is nothing we can do to get rid of it, and there's nothing we can do to mask our scent so that an animal can't smell it, like a
Yeah.
deer, right? Or whatever. So like I just Man, my mind's going because I really want to like go back to the starting point of this because there's so much that goes into this,
Yeah.
and anybody who listens to this will have to go follow up on that video. But I like here's the thing: when you start to do some research on how powerful their noses are, you can get into the weeds, and you can. There's so many people that argue back and forth, and well, they can smell this, they can't. No, this kills my scent. This doesn't. Here's where you have to switch your mindset. Take yourself out of that equation and just stop trying to cheat the game. Stop
Yep.
trying to look for a way for them to not smell you. Like you're looking for a magic pill, is what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
that's all you're doing. And that's what people don't want to hear. It's like, you want a six pack? Stop eating so much. Like nobody wants to hear that. Like nobody wants to hear put the chips back when you're grocery shopping. Like, but everybody wants a six pack. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. Okay, you don't want to get busted? This is what you have to do. You just have to hunt so the deer can't smell you. Don't think you can beat their nose. So like so this is what I did. This is my process. Instead of me trying to go to a lab and do potions and buy all this stuff and this garbage, and instead of me making my mission eliminating my scent, I make
Yeah.
my mission not letting them smell me. Boom, that's it. Just absorb that. Change your perspective. Don't make your mission on finding a cheat code and eliminating your scent.
Now,
Make
how do
your
you
mission.
go? Sorry, how do you go about not letting them smell you?
You have to play the win. This goes back to day one. So or to I mean it's you have to gain the knowledge of what is happening with your scent, and then you have to consistently build on that knowledge, and you have to gain your knowledge on how these deer move, the terrain, everything. So this goes to wind direction, it goes to thermals, it goes to the lay of the land, it goes to time of day, it goes to terrain. All these things play a factor. Temperature,
Yep.
all these things play a factor in what your scent is going to do. And if you know none of that, like you need to start learning that, not buying a scent lock suit.
Yep.
Because the scent lock suit is the bullshit and that's not going to work. You can go buy you can buy a blender and jam as many tree leaves and as many whatever you want to put in there and make your own scent concoction. You can go to the farm store and buy the scent elimination spray and spray yourself down as much as you want. It's not going to do anything. And for those
Yeah.
people who argue, because this is my biggest, the people who argue with me the biggest. Well, I want to hedge my bets, and if it helps even 15%, like then okay, if my 2 hour set, if your 2 hour scent regimen helps you 10% more, like I don't even want that. I don't want that at
Yeah.
all. I don't want the extra headache. I don't want the hassle. I want to learn how to be effective. I don't want to have any crutches. I don't want to have to rely on a suit. I want to know that I know what I'm doing. I want to know that I can play the ground, play the terrain.
Yeah.
And the thing is it's genius marketing. That's all it is. And
Hmm.
it's very smart. But we're talking about an animal that can smell the they can smell the different ingredients in a stew. Like
Yeah.
not only can they smell stew, they can smell carrots, they can smell every season, they can smell the celery, they can smell the mushrooms, they can smell the cream of onion. Like, dude, like uh, just conceptualize that.
I mean, they
Conceptualize
could probably
some
smell how much of all that stuff is in there, not just what's in there,
well,
but
and I don't know if they can surmise a like a volume of
well,
substance
yeah,
like
I'm
that,
saying
but
like to the
but
level of
but
how
but
strong their nose is.
but that's the thing is like you think of a bloodhound, think of something that can smell you 2 days after you were there, like and you think that you are gonna spray your body with a spray, you like just, oh, I'm just gonna miss my body, and you think they're not gonna, like, just think of how idiotic that
Yeah.
sounds. And I'm not pointing everybody out, and I encourage people to watch my video because I think I said in there, like, I was that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy at one point. It's about changing the perspective. And I don't care, like, it's just one of those, I'm not interested in it. Like,
Yeah.
if you told me, it'd be like, um, the biggest, like, I know Ozonics is real popular, and I got some heat because I outed them. Um, I don't got anything against Ozonics.
Yeah.
And I do like ozone, and the technology does work. That I will say that it, like, the technology does kill scent molecules.
Yeah.
Where it's a ruse is that, okay, that doesn't happen. That happens in a vacuum in a concealed area where the scent is concealed. It does not happen out in the
A tree
open.
and all of
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the argument that, well, oh, if this is even killing 5% of my scent, then it's worth it. Like, okay, if it's worth it to you to haul that piece around, to charge it, to have to, you got more movement setting it up, you got another thing to worry about. Like,
Yeah.
like, no, not for me.
Well, it's like everybody wants, and it's just human nature. Everybody wants the easiest way. Like I have a really good example that I can give sort of pointing to how strong their noses are. I have a pug. You know how pugs, they got flat faces and stuff, and that dog
Yeah,
can smell so well. Now think of a deer. They're built to smell. If my dog can smell and her face looks like a pancake and she can smell better than any of us, how
bro,
strong do you think a deer can smell?
bro, I can smell scent elimination spray. I
There you
can
go.
in my no, and
Yeah,
so
there you go.
that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like if me as a human, I can spray myself down with that, it
Yeah.
has a distinct smell to my nose. Like, and here's the thing, we don't know. Like, we have no idea. that's where it gets into the weeds is like I get battling back. I'll battle back and forth with people for 10, 15 minutes and then I just
Yeah.
shut down the argument by my perspective shift. I said, "Okay, so you're right." Or let's say you're right and like this may help a little. Wouldn't we all be better hunters if we just stopped if we stopped doing that and just started hunting them and not looking
Hmm.
for a magic to like and not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm interested in. I'm
Well,
interested in just honing the skill.
and it's like you said, the 2 hour scent regimen. The first thing I thought of is if you take that away, that's 2 extra hours. You can either scout, go shoot your bow, do some e-scouting if you can't get out there, or figure it out, you
Yep.
know, like
Yep.
make a
And it's
plan.
well,
So
it and the thing is there's yeah, exactly. It's like put that time into actually applying yourself to hunting. And
yeah.
like that I think it was a famous line. People quoted it, but it was like I think I said that exact same thing. I said you would be a million times better taking your 6 hour scent regimen
Hmm.
and like not per day, but let's say you're week. Let's say you put 6 hours into scent control because dude, that's probably not even a lot. Like I know people who, I mean, they have a separate little shed for their hunting clothes. They have a spare pair of boots that they change into every
Yep.
time they step on concrete. Like people get crazy with it. And I mean, if that stuff makes you feel warm and fuzzy, I do believe in like the placebo effect and confidence. And if you
Yeah.
know that, and if you know that like you just feel good about it and it gets you jacked up, by all means do it. But if you took that time and you put that into actually analyzing the timber and scouting or trying to beat just beat them,
Yeah.
oh my God, dude, you're gonna
It'll
catapult
skyrocket.
as a hunter. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's you just have to. It's a perspective thing.
You know what the trick is? I don't even know why we're debating it. Your dad said it. Dial soap and hair gel. That's what we all need to use.
He's
Sorry, I heard.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think you
yeah.
said that or something. I was like, dude, that is
No,
hilarious.
yeah, I actually outed him because yeah, dude, people I get it all the time and they like because people ask me what I use for like, well, what do I use for soap or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, and that's the thing. Like, I have beard oil that stinks to high hell. I use sandalwood and citrus soap.
Yeah, you're the reason
Like
I
it's
started buying cedar and pine stuff. My wife's like, "You smell like a tree." I'm like, "I smell pretty good though,
yeah,
don't I?"
yeah, yeah.
It's a lot better than
I
that
mean,
weed stuff I used.
yeah. I mean, I like those smells. So I wash with them. I don't worry at all about the deer. And even like, okay. Now, this is where some people take it to a flip extreme. Am I gonna go and be like reckless when I'm filling up my car with gas and just
No.
you know what I mean? I
Just
don't
shower
want
yourself in.
yeah, I don't want to stink like kerosene or something. Like
Yeah.
obviously we don't if we can eliminate that, but like I mean, dude, there's been just think about it, dude. Like the amount of camping I do when I'm hunting nowadays, like I ain't showering for days. I mean, think of these elk hunters. Like, what
Yeah.
do you think you think that it's because they're wearing a scent lock pair of pants? They've been on the mountain for 7 days and they just beat a bull elk and killed him at 15 yards? Like, no. It's because
No.
they know what they're doing. They're not relying on an ozonics to kill their scent. They don't got 7 cans of nose jammer in their backpack with them. Like they're just
That nose jammer stuff. I love the smell of it. I used to be a huge fan of it, and then I sprayed it one time, and these yellow jackets would not leave me alone. And if there's one
oh
thing, I would face down a mama bear with her cubs before I deal with any type of flying, stinging thing. It's like the
yeah.
one thing I'm actually scared of.
Here's the
And
thing. Like even if they that did work, which
yeah,
it might, like it might jam some whatever in their
something.
nose,
Yeah.
but like what is the percentage of success of that? And like, is it worth it? Like I'm not, I don't know.
I mean,
To
I
me,
can
it's
tell
not.
you just from
And you're
experience.
saying it attracts yellow jackets too.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's a negative. But I can tell you the nose jammer deal, and I'm not trying to, talk crap on him or anything, but I do have experience with it. That buck back there that I was talking about earlier, the day I killed him, my clothes, I had hunted public the week before, and I still keep my clothes in a tote just because it's, good storage and stuff, but I put them in the tote and I forgot to wash them. And
Hmm.
it was raining that week and I had sweated, down in Georgia early season, it was first weekend of season. It's like 85 degrees. Like
Yeah,
they smelled terrible. And so I get
yeah.
to the spot, I put them on, I can smell myself. I empty an entire can of nose jammer on me and I can still smell it. I still killed that deer. And the only reason I killed that deer is because the wind was in my face. And so I could have smelled like anything and he never would have known I was
He-
there.
Well, and here's
So,
another thing. Here's another thing I want to throw in there that a lot of people don't. I also have a theory on this.
mhm.
Yes, don't let them smell you. But I also have a second theory, and this is in that video as well, which you'll probably remember. And I firmly believe that 90% of the deer we're killing actually do smell us.
I
They've
remember you bringing
smelt,
that up.
they've smelt us. So I think that's a very important point to make here is, see, I believe that every deer, as they're going through the timber or whatever, buck, doe, whatever it is,
Yeah.
they're smelling at all times. They're taking all these scents, they take them in. Now, when a deer smells you, they go through a process with that scent and they decide that deer themselves, unless it's, let's say, late season and you're in a herd environment and you got that alpha doe who's kind of ruling the roost, and what she does matters on what other deer do.
Hmm.
But because then it's on her, right? It's her
Yeah.
distinction. So when that buck's coming down and you think you got, that bulletproof wind, or you got a wrong wind, or whatever you think your wind is doing, odds are that deer probably does have your scent and knows
Yeah.
you're there somewhere. But every time they smell that scent, they make a distinction. It's like, okay, how dangerous is this situation? Do I proceed? Do I bail? Right? So it's just one of those things where you could catch a deer at any moment in time based on year, based on what they got going on, like based on, I mean, you start talking about, you get the closer and closer we get to November, the more and more they get laxed, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to think about that and put it in the back of your head that, like, okay, like sometimes, like, I don't even think I completely beat this deer. He probably but I was just good enough to where he didn't think it was dangerous enough to where he had to bail, right?
Yeah.
And that's where like a lot of close quarter setups where, a lot of stuff I'll hunt, like I know they're going to eventually get my wind and they will, but I'll have them killed before they do. And I'll have, like, or they might get, and that's temperament of deer. You might get a deer that gets just the slightest bit of your scent and bugs out. Doesn't
Yep.
want to have anything to do with it. But you could bet your ass that tank or tripod or whatever you called that 6 point, that
Trike.
trike, whatever,
God, that's hilarious.
that, that, that deer knew your scent for
Oh
sure,
God,
right?
yeah.
So you could be willing to bet, let's say you set up on that deer, let's say you were in the timber, even where you weren't supposed to be, and he got a little whiff of your scent. And he's like, wait, what? Okay, this isn't where this cat normally is. But, like, because he knows that and because he understands, odds are he's not going to run 2 miles away.
Yeah.
He might be a little dodgy, whatever. You could probably still kill him. Now, if he got a full blown wind to his nose, you're 10 feet up in a tree, it's a 30 mile, like just a big uprush, that might be a different story. But
Yeah.
it's an example of, like, okay, he smells you, he knows you're there, he understands, he proceeds with caution, he gets killed.
Yeah.
Versus, so it's a decision making process for them at all times.
Yeah. I mean, the night he showed up, he came downwind from where I was.
Yeah.
And I, at the time, I was using a scent control product. I'm like, oh man, this stuff works great. And then last year I used it and I had a doe at 60. The wind was in my face, and either she saw me or it switched up further down the trail because all I saw was her foot, a stomp, and then
Yeah.
and then she was gone. So,
See, that's a perfect example. It's like I hear it so many times. No, this stuff has to work because I was using it and this buck came in downwind and I shot
yeah,
him. And I'm like, that doesn't
that doesn't mean it worked.
it doesn't really mean anything. You can't yeah, you don't know. I'm like, no, he probably just smelled you, didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, what? They're like, what? What do you mean? That's impossible. He couldn't have No, that happens all the time, actually. Like, you
Yeah.
think that their noses are that good? You think they're not smelling you? Like, dude,
Yeah.
you
I'd love to
gotta
be a
you
deer
gotta
for a day just to know like
I
how
wouldn't.
strong their noses are, It it'd be crazy. But Man, look, I'd hate to have to cut this short. I want to get you on again a little bit later. When do you start really hitting the woods and everything? When's like your busy season?
As far as hunting goes.
Yes. Like
Um,
when's the
y-
time that I'm like, hey Cody, you want to hop on? You're like, bro, I can't. I'm in the woods for the next 7 months
um,
or whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah, that'll probably be so. In August, we hit the road shows pretty hard, and it's a event every weekend. And then come September, I'd say mid-September, like
Oh,
the
okay.
early openers by us. Like, well, I'll probably start. If I draw on early, it'd be first week of September, but second, third week of September, and then from then to December is pretty. Yeah, I'm.
Gone.
They call me the yeah, pretty much
Okay,
out
well,
of it.
I'd love to get you back on maybe late July and we can do a like kind of a rundown of your process for preseason, then into season, rut, all of that stuff. Because I can already tell, like I knew bringing up the scent control stuff was going to get you fired up, and it worked. Because I was like, dude, I
Uh,
know he's got opinions on this, so I definitely want to do it
yeah,
again. But you brought up the road show, so why don't you go ahead and give everybody a shameless plug of the road show, and then pretty much where they can find you if somehow they don't know who you are.
yeah. So the road show is an in-person event that I've been putting on for the past 7 years now, ish. So what it is it's a we do we're gonna do 4 events this year. What it is it's a full-on day of all things whitetail. So it's tactic, it's infield tree stand type demonstrations. There's some cool competitions and fitness stuff and shooting, but really what it's about is just honing your skills and becoming a better hunter. I handpick speakers from the region of the show as well as surrounding regions and all over the country, based on different styles, tactics, terrain that they hunt, and it's really a deep dive on knowledge as well as a deep dive on gear prep and efficiency for a whitetail hunter. So if you're somebody who is looking to up their game in the whitetail woods, and not just newcomer, right? Not just new to hunting, which if you're new to hunting, this would be a catapult for you.
Yeah.
But even if you've been doing it for a while, man, like the guys we have and just connecting with like-minded people is just it's so invaluable, right? And that was the one thing. It's like I've been doing these trade shows forever since I was 15. And the biggest thing is I'd go to these trade shows and I'd find myself weeding through the thousands of people that came there for like my core people who were really trying to get after it like I was and who hunted like that and who were really passionate about it. So this is a way that we get the people, all those people in one place, man. And it's just a mind meld, between gear and efficiency and tactics and everything from like a mobile hunting 101 to scouting new pieces and planning out of state hunts to advanced tactics and like hunting the wrong wind and thermals and ambush scenarios. And so yeah, man, it's an all out all day event. It's pretty cool. I'm pumped about it. Very personal too. It's not like your typical trade show experience. There's not a bunch of booths selling products. It's handpicked guys. It's our lone wolf crew, our team, and we cap the attendance too. So it's very one on one. After hours hangout, we camp, we eat good food. So and we're giving away some pretty cool stuff. So, yeah, if you're interested in any of that, check it out, man. We got actually the tickets are on the Dying Breed Bowhunter website as well as the Roadshow, the Whitetail Roadshow website. So you can find them both places and all that stuff, or me at my Instagram or my YouTube, which is both Dying Breed Bowhunter. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try and come up to the Georgia show.
yeah, yeah.
Because I know you guys had my buddy Jay Maxwell out there last year. I don't know, I don't remember if you guys listed who the speakers are for Georgia this year, but um I I texted Zach and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna try to make it." And he was all pumped. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. And plus,
Oh, dude,
I
it's a
read there's
blast.
good food, and when you say there's good food, I'm there. Like
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
more than
It's
happy to help.
Yeah,
But no, man,
it's it's a good
I
time.
do you by any chance know what the attendance right now for the Georgia show is looking like?
I have not looked. I know that so we opened up an early access pass
Yeah.
for like people to come from a little further out, crash the night before, hang out with the crew. Those sold out very, very quickly, like in the first couple hours. And but we did increase, I don't know what the cap is even for that venue this year. Um, Probably we usually like the highest we usually cap stuff is a couple hundred people.
Okay.
So like we don't so it's always very it's never jam packed and you're never out of reach. Like we typically have about 8 speakers. Um and then like last year in Georgia was pretty I'm trying to think of what the numbers were last. Maybe 150 last year we
Oh
had in
wow.
Georgia. Yeah, it was a good time. But I don't know what they're at now. But I would definitely, if you're looking at coming, snag your ticket because if we do hit the cap, we're shutting it down. Last year we
Yeah.
sold out of both Iowa and Ohio.
So if
Um,
you guys
so
cap out, you're saying I can't just drive up there and be like, hey, I know
well,
these
we'll
guys.
make an
I'm
exception. We'll
I'm
make an
kidding. I'm
exception.
kidding.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't do that. But no, man, I'm really looking forward to it. Dude, Cody, thank you for coming on here, man. This
Yeah,
has
thanks for
been
having me, man.
I've been telling people this is going to be my favorite podcast for the entire year. So if we get to do another one in July, it's going to be my, I guess, new favorite, second favorite, all whatever it is. Um, but yeah, dude, you are a wealth of knowledge. I love getting to hear you and your dad go back and forth. It's freaking hilarious to me. I do have a bone to pick with him because he said someone from Georgia tried to invite him down here, and he was like, "What am I going to do? Look at flowers?" And it's like, okay, Andre, it's not that bad. It's
Uh,
not that bad, man. But
yeah.
dude,
Uh,
I really look up to you guys, and I've already learned so much from this episode and everything you guys have put out. Plus, y'all do make the best tree stands on the market by far. I will die on that hill. Um, and now I can say that with experience. So, thank you, man.
yeah,
Thank you
I
for coming
appreciate
on,
that,
dude.
man.
I really,
Yeah,
this was great.
I appreciate it, brother. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
anytime.
Awesome, y'all. Well, that's another episode in the books, guys. Remember, Christ is King. Go read your Bible and go shoot your bow.